Hello, how you doing? This is Gus Tucker with Financial Freedom Fridays. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are doing good, man. It's August, and on Wednesday, August 17th, I have my 37th wedding anniversary. 37 years that me and Miss Renee have been married. Wow. That's something. That's something. So, yay, she put up with me for that long. So, we had an amazing time. And we've got some trips planned later on this fall to commemorate it. Just really busy now. Thank you. Happy anniversary. But what I want to talk to you about is that your most important, the most as you get older, the most you find out the most important thing in your life is our people. Your people and your health. Hello? People and your health. Let's get this camera and shoot it up a little bit. Your health, right? Because people spend their whole life making money. Then when they get older, they spend all their money trying to get their health back or trying to get relationships straight, right? So along the way, while you're on this way, work on your health, right? You're on blackdoctor.org, right? So hopefully you're focused on your health. You want to have your health straight. Be doing all the stuff you're supposed to be doing, from eating to exercise to dealing with stress to all the things you need to be doing, right? Get your money right and get your relationships right. Does that make sense? If you got health, relationships, and money, you know what? Life's pretty doggone good, right? So I'm going to try to share these slides. If I mess it up, y'all let me know. I'm trying to share. Oh, there they go. My man. He hooked the brother up. So here we go. So we're going to talk about these slides right here. So our goal in this podcast is to support you in applying the practical tools that we're talking about, to get understanding and to get financial independence and sustain it for multiple generations. So I want to talk to you about one practical way you can start this. Okay? It's not get rich quick, but it is get rich. Now, there are other things you need to be doing around entrepreneurship, around owning real estate, around, investing that we'll talk about later. But this is something, what I'm about to show you, something everybody can do. And over time, your family is going to win. And no matter if you're doing all the other stuff, you ought to be doing what I'm about to show you as a foundation. Does that make sense? Somebody let me know. Let me get some feedback. Somebody talk to me out here in Facebook world. Let me know. Hit me up on the comments. Let me know you hear me. Okay. Now we talked about financial independence, that it's about having enough personal wealth to live without having to work actively for basic necessities, where you don't have to go to work every day and the money keeps coming in. Okay. That's our goal. Our goal is to make that possible by being financially literate. Now, Mr. Ellis, the producer, and I were talking about a concept, okay, that I was made aware of. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. And what this person did was available to everybody in America to do what he did. But one, you had to be aware of it. Two, you had to be prepared to take action. And three, you had to take action. There's a particular part of the tax law that's available to people, that was made available to people because of the pandemic. Okay? There's certain things you have to do if you're a business owner to qualify to get this money back from the government. And it's not earmarked money, so you can use this money for whatever you want to. You just have to fit the 3 criteria for your business to qualify for it. So this gentleman, him and his partner, they saw this and they said, man, it's a great opportunity if we educate people. Financial literacy. Financial literacy. So they educated business owners about this. They invested $3,500 to start this company in the first 12 months. Are y'all sitting down? Are y'all sitting down? They did 2.8 billion with a B. B-I-N billion dollars in revenue. Their only expenses are the people who are doing the work, computers, and remote. People can. So what do you think the profit was on that 2.8 billion? A lot. And it was an idea that was put into action. That's financial literacy. Because we talked about financial literacy is understanding how to earn, spend, save, manage, and invest money. If you make $2.8 billion in 12 months, I think that qualifies as literate. You pass, check mark. But how many of our families have passed? When you were born, when I was born, how big a deposit did they make in your trust account for you to get started in life? How big was that check? How many hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars was it? What if in your family you could start having trust fund babies that are getting 6 and 7 figure checks when they're born? What if you could start that in your family? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that today. Get this book, How Money Works. The idea of the book will cause you to start thinking and open your mind up to possibilities with your money. Get the book, How Money Works. It's on a quiz. Take the quiz on my website. Take the quiz. It'll cause you to think about what you know and what you don't know. How do you get a pearl? How does an oyster make a pearl? Dirt gets in the shell, and it's an irritation to the oyster. And over time, that irritation becomes the bigger the irritation, the bigger the pearl. How big an irritation is your financial situation to you right now? The bigger the irritation, the bigger the pearl. Come on now. Come on now. So here's the thing, creating wealth for generations. Will your wealth last as long as you do? It's a question you must be able to answer. Okay, and here's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to get something to write with. Okay, a piece of paper and a pen. I've got this thing. I've had it for a couple of months now. It's remarkable. It's a little right one. I've gotten rid of all my notebooks. I'm the notebook man from a long way back. Okay, I've been having notebooks for a long time, but now I don't use them anymore. So get something to write on. Okay, now here's what I want you to do. I want you to put a circle. I want you to put a circle on the top of that piece of paper and put your initials in it. That's you. Okay? That's you. Okay, you got that? Somebody let me know they wrote that down. Somebody hit me up with a message, a note, send a pigeon, send something. Let me know that you did that. Okay, we're gonna wait. Come on now, we're gonna wait. I just need one person to tell me you got your paper out, you're listening, you made that circle, and you put your name and your initials in it. Then we'll tell you what to do next. Once Cass Burns, thank you, Cass. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Now, here's one thing I know about Cass, and I know about everybody out there. And I said this to somebody a little bit. This person's from New York, so they had a sharp wit about him, right? And I said, here's one thing I know about you, bro. I said, you had a mom and a dad. He said, the mom, yes. He said, dad, not so much. He said he had a father figure, and he kind of had a donor, if you will, but he didn't really have a father. I was okay, bro. You know what I mean? There's two people involved in you being here. So from that one circle, make two lines, and there's two people, right? So think of that as one generation. One generation back from you is your mom and dad. Okay? Now the next generation back is who? Their mom and dad. So draw lines back from them, and there's mom and dad. Now, how many people you got now? You got 6 people in your past. We're not counting the kids they had and all, making it real simple. Okay, so you go back second. Next generation is 4 people, right? And then each one of those 4 people, what they have, a mom and a dad. So you go back, and now there's 8 people. What if you went back 10 generations? How long has your family been around? Have you done the ancestry.com kind of thing or anything like that? Well, a generation is like 14 years, right? So think about how many generations have come before you. Now, if you're a person of color, specifically if you're an African American, we didn't always have the opportunity to do what I'm about to say, but we've had long enough to do it to have stopped being poor. You can stop poverty in your family. You can stop poverty in your family if you do what I'm about to tell you. You can be responsible for stopping poverty in your family if you do what I'm about to show you. Okay, now what's that? Okay, life insurance. It's 100% success at creating MGW. What is that? Multi-generational wealth. Okay, GoFundMe is not a financial strategy. Do you understand what I'm saying? GoFundMe is not a financial strategy. Because most people aren't going to say GoFundMe, they're going to say go you. Why don't you have your act together? GoFundMe is not a strategy. Okay? Now, I'm glad it exists. It's going to help folks. But if you have the ability to, you can set up a much better strategy. If you can't, for whatever reason, and there is a percentage of people that can't, then boom. But what you want to do is you want to execute this strategy I'm talking about, you're going to want to leverage a tool called permanent life insurance. Now, somebody go online, somebody go out there and say, now, oh man, don't talk to me about life insurance. Come on, man. Talk to me about something that's like important. Okay, check this out. I want you to Google right now, BOLI, BOLI, capital BOLI, and capital COLI, BOLI, bank-owned life insurance. C is corporate-owned life insurance. Question for you, how much money are banks permanent life insurance? For a bank, it's just like cash. It's on their balance sheet for their bank. It's an important asset for them. Look that up. See how much money banks are putting into life insurance. Hundreds of billions of dollars and so are corporations. Why? Because inside these policies, let's look at this. There's a death benefit that's typically tax-free. So the life insurance is on the person. When that person passes away, it pays out a death benefit tax-free. I always like to get, now, the person's going to pass away anyway, right? None of us get out of this thing alive. Life is a terminal disease. Okay? Nobody gets out. So why not have your family benefit when somebody passes away? That might seem like a crazy way to think about it, but it's going to happen, so why not benefit from it? Did y'all look up Bowley and Coley? Did you see how much money was out there in that? So I joke with people, I say, don't put your money in the bank, put your money where the bank puts their money. And for those of you that took the quiz and sent me your information, I sent a book to you that this is part of what that book explained. Death benefit tax-free. Next is living benefit. I thought insurance is when you die. Things have changed a little bit. No, they've changed a lot of it. One of my business partners had a nephew. He's since passed away. This nephew had 7 children. How many? 7. Some of them were adopted. That's how much life insurance he had on himself. His wife didn't work outside the home. She took care of the kids. He's the sole breadwinner. How much life insurance you think he had? Put it in the comments in the chat. How much life insurance you think he had on his family? He's the sole breadwinner in his 40s, I believe. In his 40s, I believe. 7 children. I think all of them under 18. Holy Toledo. Who's a part of my business team for almost 2 years. Recalled him, so he would get it. So he finally got it done. He got a life insurance policy that was several $100,000 that had living benefits on it. What are living benefits? Let's say you have a heart attack, cancer, stroke. You get in an accident, you can't go to work, and you need like some help at home. It impacts your lifestyle somehow. You can't work, so you lost of income, or you have maybe lost some mobility, or some motor functions, or cognition, or something. Or you want to have maybe a procedure that's not covered. You don't have to have an illness, but you had some kind of accident. This person got a check for $440,000 from a term life insurance policy that he was paying less than $100 a month for. He paid less than $2,000 into that policy, and the company wrote him a check for $440,000 that took care of he and his family for a couple of years. He couldn't work, provided for some alternative medicine, kept him alive long from that money and some other things. Living benefits, long-term care. How many of you guys have family members that have people that are taking care of them as they get older? How are you paying for that? Well, one of the benefits of a life insurance policy can be long-term care. How long-term care is paid for has been changing in America. That's another thing that these can do. A concierge service is one company I'm aware of that has a concierge service. So when you pass away, you make one phone call and it handles the whole funeral service. One phone call. It's a life insurance policy, but these funeral directors have a system set up to support the people who bought this policy and making all the funeral arrangements, including negotiating pricing. Funeral directors, they know what this stuff really costs, and they don't oversold. So How'd you like to make one phone call when your loved one passed away and get that handled? How cool is that? Because I've had to do that with several people in my family, and the funeral director's trying to sell me stuff. So how about not having to go through that experience? Make one phone call, they handle it. Now check this out. These permanent policies, part of the premium you're paying is being saved and invested for you. And these policies are set up typically where you can't lose your money. You can't lose the money that was invested. So, protection. So when the market corrects and goes down, you don't lose any money. I was just showing this gentleman how in 2002 and 2008, when the market crashed, and even now, my clients didn't lose any money. They actually made 0.75% in this particular one. And the average for this particular company over the last 20 years has been over 8, almost 9% return. So you got cash that builds up in the policy. It builds up tax-free. Many universities don't count the money that's inside these policies towards your effective family contribution. In other words, that money is accounted against what you need to spend towards college. And you can borrow this money back from yourself. You can borrow this money back from yourself. It's called being your bank. You can borrow them. Is you pay it back through the death benefit. So you never pay it back. Those just, here's what you do. Right? There's you, your mom and dad, one generation, your grandparents, second generation, your great grandparents, third generation back. When you look back at that, how many families do you have? Should be 8 families. You're one family, then your parents are one family, then their parents are 2 families, then it's 4 families. So there's 4, 6, 7, and you make the 8th family. So there's 7 families outside of you. Now here's the 2 things they need to do. Develop a $500,000 permanent life insurance policy, taken out when the child is 2 weeks old, or as soon as 2 weeks as you can get it. $500,000 policy on a baby. It's going to cost less than $100. So what have you done? You've locked in the price for that insurance for the life of that child at the lowest possible price. Not trying to get a life insurance policy when you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old and it costs your arm and leg and you say you can't afford it. So some planning ahead, when that baby's little, get that policy on it, less than $100. And if you'll put $150 in it from the start, when that child is 65, they'll have over $1 million cash, tax-free inside that policy at 65. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? $1 million at 65. How many people do you know right now that don't have $1 million and they're 65? Is that a lot of money? I don't know. You tell me. But at $150 a throw, that's not going to break anybody, is it? But you got to start early. The next thing is, what if each couple paid off a home for $250,000? Not a real expensive home, $250,000, they paid it off. So each family, when they pass away, and I'm not even counting the cash in the policy, I'm just talking about the death benefit. There could be $500,000, $1 million of cash in the policy. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the death benefit in the policy on the mom and the dad and the paid off home. So each family net worth is at least 1.25 million. Question for you. What's the average net worth in your family? 1.25 million. 1.25 million. And if there's 7 families, what's 7 times 1.25 million? I know I did the math over here. 1.25 million. It's 8.75. Now, my wife and I have done this, and we teach kids, before me to do it, over again. And then we're teaching our kids to do it. We have 3 of them. And we're putting all of us. We already own businesses and investments together inside trust. But you do a family trust. And then when the generations pass, that money passed forward through those trusts. If that had happened for you in just 4 generations back, when you were born, there'd have been $8.75 million available for your trust. I know there's more kids than just you, blah, 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 blah. But whatever it was, however many kids it was, would it have been more than what you got? So I'm asking you to think about this strategy. All the children, permanent policy on them right now. Every adult in your family should as well. Leverage wills and trust, especially trust, to put the pass to the next generation without dealing with probate. The way that many stars that you've heard of have died without a trust, and they're in probate. Okay? Now that's what I wanted to share with you. If you're interested in executing that strategy, my phone right there, my email's right there. Reach out, we can help you to do this. We can get you started on this track in your family. There's no reason for your family not to be wealthy going forward unless you don't take action. Now, these people that I just became affiliated with, that learned about this particular rule inside the IRS code, and they took advantage of it, they took immediate action, they built a business that in 1 year did over $2.8 billion, and it's just grown from there. What if they'd have heard the idea, said, man, that sounds like, that's great. But they did exactly nothing about it. What they have today? Exactly nothing. Okay, so I want to challenge you to take advantage of this information that's being shared with you. This information here, all the information that's being brought to you on blackdoctor.org through the other programs. Take advantage of this information. Don't just let it go through your brain, in one out the other, in one out the other. Don't do that. Put it to use, okay? We're going to finish a little bit early. I'm going to give you a whole minute back. Okay? I'm going to give you a whole minute back. It's 29 minutes in. So hit a brother up. If you got questions, you want to know how to do this, my phone number's right there. My email's right there. Reach out. We're talking about here and stuff. We'll kind of give us some guidance on what to do. Is this kind of information helping you? Let us know. What other information would be helpful for you? Let us know. Okay? You guys have a great day. I'm going to hit it, kick it with my wife of 37 years. We got fun weekend planned. I'm excited about it. You guys take care, all right? Peace.